perfect setup would be if it bounces here and then fails and I get in short as it breaks the lows. That would be a great setup. It doesn't need to be much of a pullback, even just like up to here somewhere, some kind of spike higher. The ES is still grinding lower, which is good. I'm really nervous, or not nervous, but really just in my head, just thinking I'm just gonna miss this. It's just gonna go without me, and it's just gonna grind lower. But again, I wanna wait for my signal. I haven't taken a trade in a while, so there's some FOMO there. That's a tiny bit of a lower high, but really that's just like a micro spike. I wouldn't really say that's enough. I need more than that. It's nice that it made a new low. So I feel like the fake lower flush has happened. And so we're now seeing if that fails. I really don't want to get short on that. But it's like, I don't really need that much more of a pullback. So it's like, do I just do it and then have my stop kind of just up here? I think I just want to wait 1 or 2 more candles, see what it looks like. Because it looks like we might start a bounce here. Nothing to really note on a 5-minute candlestick wise. It just looks like we're kind of chopping at the top. ES kind of looks the same. Okay, that's enough of a spike higher. I would go short if it made a new low. The ES, basically same thing. We basically have a head and shoulders forming. It's definitely making a head and shoulders here. So I'm gonna get short on this if it breaks lower. Just waiting with my order below this low. It'd be nice to not get in on a huge spike lower, but that's definitely a pullback that I like. It's kind of a funky head and shoulders, but it's good, showing good weakness. And then we have nice target down here, 3x to the open. Good signal, that's all that matters. I was patient and waited. If it pulls back on me, so be it. Stops in a good spot. So all you can kind of do is get in when you get the signals and then let the trade play out. I'm happy with how patient I was there for really the proper signal, I would say. Big picture for targets. I mean, I think going for the open is great. Just trying to give back this move. That would be the ideal thing. If it gets going, you know, we could get further down. You know, yesterday, kind of that's exactly what happened. We had a spike up, sat there for a while, and then sold off to the open. And then clearly continued lower. I think that's unlikely that I hold through that, but always the possibility is always there. And of course we could come down and tap this as support and continue higher if we're gonna stay in an uptrend. So that's one thing to be aware of. I think it'll just see how the trend develops. Do we flush down really fast? And is it just worth to just jump out? Or do we, you know, kind of go in a methodical downtrend and I can manage my stops efficiently? I'd probably only go break even once we kind of came down here. So trade is gonna do what the trade is gonna do at this point. That's not a good spike lower. I mean, that makes me think I'm just gonna get stopped down. It's gonna continue higher, but I mean, I'm happy with the trade. I think I waited for a good signal. If it was gonna go, that's where it was gonna go. That was the good entry. You know, you can't control what the market does after that. All I controlled was my entry, and my entry was good. That's all that matters. Okay, time to lock in. Looks like we're starting to get movement. The level we've come down to is, you know, we've pretty much come down to yesterday's chop range on the NASDAQ, and the ES has come down to yesterday's close. And it looks like we're pretty much at the 10 a.m. reversal time. Nice spike, trend, spike again, and then it tried to keep going lower, and it looks like it's failing. I want to see it take out this swing high right here. That confirms to me that it's starting to make new highs that are higher. So that kind of confirms an uptrend for me. So that's confirmed now. The last thing I want to see is a pullback. I want to see it essentially come down to here, maybe retest this high, and then I'll look to jump in along off of that. You know, maybe if it pulls down to here, and then I'll jump in long after that, because I want to see essentially a really confirmed uptrend. Now, ES is basically acting the same. It's a little bit tighter. It hasn't sold off as much, but there's good alignment there. So I think we have a good potential. It's basically made a double bottom here. I just want to see a pullback here, and then I'm going to look to get long on the NASDAQ here with the idea that on a 5 minute, we've got really nice fair value gaps from this morning, especially this opening sell-off. That's this. And I think big picture, big picture, looking at a 15-minute chart for the ES or the NASDAQ, we're in this uptrend. This could literally just be a pullback. It doesn't look as strong on the NASDAQ, but the ES for sure is just kind of in this uptrend. So it looks like it could just be pulling back to here and going higher. And the NASDAQ has, made a good flush lower too, but I think overall is on the bullish side as well. So let's see what this pullback right here plays out. I would like a little bit more of a pullback than this one candlestick. Getting long off of that just feels a little aggressive. Even if it could poke up here one more time and do a bigger pullback, that's fine. Because of this choppiness, I want to be careful here. It'd be perfect if it pulled back. I think down to here would be a little better, because that's much more of a real attempt to go lower versus this is kind of like, okay, it's a little pullback. It is kind of hitting this, which does look good. And the ES here is looking to make new highs. It does look good though. I personally kind of would like a little bit more of a spike lower, but I could put my stop all the way down here. I want to see how this new high acts. Does it just hit that and then flush lower, or does it kind of hold that? It's always super hard waiting for this pullback right here because it feels like it's just gonna go up and I'm gonna miss it. And I gotta just accept if it does that, that's okay. I wanna wait for this pullback, because if this pulls back and rips up, I think that looks solid. And also this is where, okay, this would just sell off if it's gonna, I'm avoiding the loss by waiting for this. ES is selling off. It's a good retest kind of candle. If it reverses that, I think that's solid. I'm gonna put an order up here, because if it does just reverse that and break that high, I'm okay getting in before the candlestick closes. Ideally, it would close here and then push, and after, even if a little pullback, because getting in on kind of a flush higher is kind of scary sometimes, just with how the market can be. Looks like we're in long. I would like to target the open, but it's hard to know what the market's gonna do. Got nice potential on a 5-minute for this to rip up. Just gotta let it play out now. I think the potential's there. If it chops around, it chops around. I did everything good for entry that is in my control. Waited for the pullback. Nice signal. Now I just have to let the market play out. Depending on what this move looks like, I'll manage and either get out at 3x or, trail up my stop. But I'm not going break even until it probably comes up here somewhere. Looks like I chose the right market this morning. If you look at the ES, it's not even moving yet. Would have entered in here and it would have been down. So that's, ideally, we need both to get moving though. The ES needs to be at least come up to here. That'll help push up the NASDAQ more. So just gotta let things play out. I think the swings look good for the long side. The ES looks like it's just kind of struggling to break through the overnight swing here. This is the part where you just gotta be patient and do nothing. Just gotta let the market play out. Even though sometimes I wish I could just click a fast forward button, because it kind of just sucks waiting for your fate to be decided. That's a pretty gross candlestick. If it doesn't get gobbled up pretty instantly, that could be a bad sign. Hopefully it gets gobbled up. There could be a uptrend right here, but that's a pretty big bearish rip lower. Just kind of makes it seem like we're gonna make a new low or just make one more flush lower before it reverses. That is crappy. I don't know if I want to stay longer and see if this, I think it would have gone up here if it was going to go up, even if it was like this. And so it making a new kind of stab lower here, even if it, bounces here and does eventually go up, it's, my read is essentially off and it's not acting how I am seeing it. And so usually I find it's better to just call it for the day and not try and take more trades on a day where the market's not acting how you would envision it to act, just because it makes it harder and less likely for a trade to actually work out.